What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today is January the 12th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update over some of the hot movers and what big money is focusing on today. Before we get into any of that though, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data, don't really have too much. We have a couple of Fed speakers later in the morning, and there's a lot of hot topics that they could really bring up. But aside from that though, what's really moving the market is a lot of just geopolitical issues and a lot of grayness. Grayness especially associated to Powell. So Powell, we learned, is under investigation. It's kind of out of left field, but that obviously throws a wrench in it. This isn't his official page on a side note, but this video is kind of funny. But nonetheless, we also do have grayness associated to Greenland that did develop over the weekend, plus this. So this is kind of affecting the finance sector and fintech, because Trump is wanting to cap credit card interest at 10%. So that's could cause a lot of ripples and a lot of increased competition, and it might even kind of phase out some companies. So this is kind of a big deal. As far as right now though, you are seeing the futures slightly red. Dow's down 0.53, S&P down 0.43, NASDAQ down 0.63. At the same time, the levels of silver are getting to kind of the highs that caused a lot of margin calls in banks. So silver running up as much as it is also isn't really the greatest. So I think a lot of this is now just seen as just more of a hedge against everything that's happening in the broader market. Aside from that, we're seeing fear and greed index under the neutral category. So meaning people's appetite for risk is somewhat there. Getting right to it, we have SOFI in the green. During the overnight trading, they were very red, roughly around 2.5%, I think even at the lowest 3%. A lot of that had to do with Trump, but interestingly enough, they seem to be fighting back. No news, no SEC filings, no new analyst ratings, so they seem to be recovering fairly well. Shorts are returning about 235,000 shares during the pre-market. So obviously that's one of the biggest attributing factors why SOFI is moving higher. Aside from that, with it at 27.42, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 27.26 is going to be that key support you really want to watch for SOFI to hold today. Flip side 29.26, and I don't really see that being touched whatsoever. So today the battle will be for that 27.26. So kind of just watch for that. If you are more of a kind of day trader, just look at this. So right now 27.58 and then 26.93. That will be the next strong support and target. So kind of orient a lot of your buys and sells possibly around there. NIO is up 2.37%. A lot of Chinese stocks are really moving higher. A lot of articles coming out about policy, no official macro data, and I'll save a lot of the operational updates for NIO for my dedicated NIO video later today, but nonetheless, definitely good to see it in the green. Shorts are trying to slow it. It's not really working too well, and they're not really throwing too much at it though. So they're increasing about 15,000 shares. 8.46% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 172 million shares overall being shorted. Shares on loan did jump up recently, so it's sitting at 90.1. But still, some signs of naked shorting is occurring because there is more shares being shorted than on loan. Right now, with it at 474, smack dab in the middle between this S1 and this S2. So 455 and then 480 is the next strong support and target. Aside from that though, SOUN is getting a lot of good volume. It is up 5.53%. No news from them, no SEC filings, just a lot of good articles coming out, one of which is right here. So Ultraviolet debuts AI-powered voice assistant Violet for F77 at CES 2026. So this CES has really benefited SOUN. It's got a lot of good marketing, a lot of good interviews out. So that's a good thing. And there hasn't really been that much in kind of analyst ratings because of that. There was a couple that was earlier last week, largely negative for whatever reason, but when it comes down to shorts, they are returning about 28,000 shares during the pre-market. 30.7% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 116.6 million shares overall being shorted. Right now with at 12.29, it is trading between this R2 and this R1. So 12.23 is going to be that kind of key support you really want to watch for it to hold. Flip side 10.98, and I don't see that being touched today, but kind of swing trade more orientation. Just watch for that. And then $13 is going to be the next strong target. So today, just watch for that 12.23. Moving on, BDSX. So they are up quite a lot during the pre-market because of their earnings. So they did put out some pretty solid earnings, surprising. Shorts are increasing about 3,000 shares, not heavily shorted. So 2.36% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 88,000 shares. So shorts aren't going to be that big of a deal. In the past though, shorts have really tried their best to double down. They have these spikes, but clearly nothing really to worry about for today, right now at least. With it at 682, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. On a side note, this is, I believe, the third most heavily traded during the pre-market, so this will be a good swing trade opportunity. But 726 and then 635 is going to be the next strong target slash support. And realistically, I could see both being touched. And then aside from that, moving on, ticker is ONDS. They are kind of up slightly, nothing too significant, but they're getting a lot of volume. No press releases, but they did put out something on January the 9th. And this morning they did put out a 8K, which was kind of just to essentially explain that, the S3. So it is what it is. Market seems to be liking that. Shorts, although, are increasing already 1.4 million shares. So today will be a rough day, possibly. Shorts might be very active. 20.38% of the free float's being shorted. Works to be 77.56 million shares overall being shorted, with it at 1373, trading between, or looks like above the fib level. So 1569 and 1244 is going to be the next strong kind of support and target. So for today, just watch for pretty much that 1244 for the most part. Let me know your general thoughts on these stocks. Are you buying anything? Are you selling? What are you generally doing? One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily, day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile too. Pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all you watching.